What's going on YouTube? It's the kid Gowie here. Now before we jump into anything, I want to make sure you guys press that subscribe button, give me a thumbs up, and at the end of the video, be sure to leave a comment. Let's keep this conversation going because I'm very interested to see how you guys feel about this video and the conversation at hand. Now let's talk about the inspiration for this video. I was on Twitter yesterday, BallIsLife posted a Bronny James highlight tape, and I was like, bro, this kid is different. When you search the internet, you see the typical stuff. Is Bronny James going to live up to the hype? Is he overrated? Is he the next LeBron James? This, that, and the third, blase, blase, you know. As basketball fans, when we're talking about high school recruits and college recruits, one of the things that we like to see is who does this player emulate the most? Player comparisons kind of give us a feel of that player's ceiling. So for example, me not being a hooper and being completely unathletic, you can compare me to a Joel Anthony. He'd probably be my ceiling if we keeping it a buck. But a player like Bronny James who has an arsenal full of weapons, come on bro, the ceiling is endless. Now, I already know some of y'all are going to state the obvious.
Well, LeBron James is his dad, so Bronny James' ceiling is LeBron James.
And I'm not going to say that you're incorrect, but we also have to be realistic. How many times have we seen an NBA player of GOAT status have a child come into the league and surpass them? I'll wait. The answer is never. Now, this is no shade to Bronny. He could end up going to the NBA and having a dominant career. But you gotta keep in mind, his father is one of the greatest, if not the greatest player to ever play the game of basketball. So, with that being said, we're going to keep it realistic. Does Bronny James, in fact, have similar traits to his father LeBron? Obviously, the apple doesn't fall too far from the tree. They're both athletic, they both have great court vision, they're both great passers, the list goes on. But there are some things that LeBron can do that Bronny can't do, and vice versa. For example, Bronny James is 15 years old, so obviously he doesn't have the same stature as his father yet. But when that time comes, he may develop into that, or he may fall short of those genetics and he may have the height but not the size. As for Bronny, he's already a more polished shooter than LeBron was at his age. So just imagine his jump shot once he hits like 19 years old. But anyway, enough of the LeBron versus LeBron comparisons. I mean, we've heard enough of that. Let's talk about some real comparisons to how Bronny James plays this very day. Now, right off the bat, I want you guys to remember that Bronny is still growing. He still has to grow into his body. He still has to learn how to use his body once he develops that size. And he still has some things he needs to polish. But there are some things that jump straight out the moment that you look at him play. First and foremost is his court vision. When you out chilling with a friend and somebody spots something crazy and they be like, yo, don't look over there, but look over there. And you got to use your peripherals, you like. The way that his court vision is almost as if he doesn't have a blind spot. He's a very smooth ball handler who is patient, so he's able to spot people in locations where the defender may not be able to see. Which leads me to believe no matter how big Bronny may grow, he's going to play point guard when he gets to the NBA. I don't care if he grows to be 7'2". This man's going to be the tallest point guard to ever play. As I stated within the previous trait, Bronny is very patient. One thing that you see with patient basketball players is they never panic when they get the ball. It seems like the game slows down for them and they're able to slowly maneuver through lanes. Some players that come to mind are Chris Paul, Steph Curry, and James Harden. When defenders close in on these players, even if they trap them, for some reason, they never lose their composure. Everything just looks silky smooth and they stay grounded. I see that same composure when it comes to Bronny James. He's a great shooter, so he doesn't have to force himself into the paint to get a good look. So the fact that he's a threat from deep and a threat inside the paint, it makes it more difficult for defenders to predict his next move. To go along with his great court vision, his ability to pass. Bronny is definitely a flashy passer, but it's only going to get better. And this is a trait that he actually gets from his father. Being 6'8", 260 pounds, you gotta think to yourself, if you're that big, why are you so good of a passer? But as we know, LeBron is a freak of nature. So the real question in that situation is, why not? So if there was one trait that we knew that Bronny was going to develop from his dad, it was definitely going to be the passing. Athleticism. At 6'2", this man already has a pro dunk package. Bro, I'm 6'2" and I can't flush the ball for I got about as much bounce as a girl with no booty. But enough about me, back to Bronny. Not only is this man windmilling, doing reverse dunks, cocking back like a loaded pistol, this man is also catching inbound oops. And if you watch basketball, you're not throwing an inbound oop to just anybody. That boy got bounce. And he's only going to get more dangerous the older he gets and the taller he gets. So by the time he's 17, I advise y'all to keep y'all asses out the paint. Like I previously stated, Bronny James is a great shooter. When you see this kid on the outside, you cannot afford to allow him to get his feet set. If he gets his feet set, he's automatic. Similar to how he is as a ball handler and inside the paint, he's very composed on the outside as well. In order to slow him down, you really gotta apply that pressure and make him uncomfortable. Because if you don't strike no fear in that kid's heart, you know what that means. And last but not least, which I believe is his most underrated trait, Bronny's efficient floater. Just put these things together and think about it as a defender. This guy is dangerous from deep. He's crafty around the basket, so you gotta try to find an answer for him in that mid-range. And just when you think that you have an answer, he can just simply float it over you and still get a bucket. Now, I don't know about y'all, but that sounds like a headache to me. Aside from the mid-range jump shot, the floater is definitely an underrated shot in the NBA. And trust me, floaters aren't easy. You put too soft of a touch on it, it may be an air ball, or you may hit front rim. You put a little too much force on it, you hitting back iron. So to be efficient with this shot, definitely takes talent. All you have to do is look at a Tony Parker, James Harden, or any other player who shoots the floater at a high efficiency and realize that this shot is not for everybody. Now, with all that being said, I feel like it's time for me to finally reveal who Bronny James plays the most like in the NBA today. As I was watching Bronny's highlight tape, a few names came to me. Even though he's no longer in the NBA, a name that came to me was Johnny Flynn, an athletic guard who played above the rim. The next name that came to mind was Chris Paul. Hall of Fame point guard, very patient, great shooter, great passer, you name it. All those boxes were checked. But the only thing that kept me from making this pick was that I felt like I'd be robbing Bronny of his athleticism. So once again, back to the drawing board. If we compare Johnny Flynn and Chris Paul together, who do we get? And this is the person who I came up with.
Drum roll, please.
Ja Morant from the Memphis Grizzlies. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, Ja Morant is the person who I feel Bronny James is the most comparable to. Ja Morant has it all. The patience, the shooting ability, the court vision, the passing, the athleticism. You name it. All the boxes checked down the list. And even though this doesn't solidify anything, it does add substance to my argument. LeBron James himself said that his kids love Ja Morant and they admire how he plays. And last time I checked, if you love the way that somebody does something, chances are you're going to emulate your game after them. Now I know some people are going to argue,
Ja Morant's only been in the league for 1 year. We don't even know how good he's going to be.
Which is a fair argument, but let's be real. In his first NBA season, he already had his team in playoff position. Not too many lottery picks can actually say that in their first year. And so I'm letting you know right now, and we don't even have to debate this, Ja Morant's ceiling is astronomical. And in my personal opinion, by the year of 2023, he'll arguably be the best point guard in the NBA. So yes, Ja may be fresh legs in the league. Yes, we may not know where he'll end up in his future, but I can tell you right now, the only thing that will stop Ja Morant from being great is if his body gives out on him. Because if we're basing this on skill set, you'll be a damn fool voting against Ja Morant being great. So there you have it, YouTube. Bronny James, Ja Morant, perfect comparison at this very moment. Like I said, keep in mind, Bronny still has some growing to do. He still has to grow into his body. We don't know how big he's going to get. Pause. So who knows? Within the next 3 years, he may be more comparable to his father. But at this very moment, I feel like Ja Morant is the perfect comparison. So once again, if you haven't already, press that subscribe button, like, comment, share this video with anybody that you may know, and let's keep this family growing. Until next time.
It's only entertainment.